The day the market broke. The Great Illusion. In the early years of the millennium, the global financial system felt invincible. Wealth wasn't just being created, it was being guaranteed. To the average observer, the world was moving forward at a comfortable, predictable pace. Incomes were steady, the stock market was rising, and at the center of this prosperity was a simple, universal truth: housing prices never fall. For decades, a mortgage was a straightforward agreement. It was a localized, intimate contract between a home buyer and a community bank. You borrowed money, you paid it back with interest over 30 years, and the bank kept that loan on its books. The system was cautious, slow, and remarkably stable. But by 2005, the hidden plumbing of global finance had completely changed. Wall Street had discovered a way to transform these quiet, local mortgages into international commodities. Investment firms realized they could buy thousands of individual home loans, bundle them together into a single financial package, and sell pieces of that package to investors all over the world. They called these mortgage-backed securities. To the global market, it looked like a perfect machine. Even if a few homeowners defaulted on their loans, the sheer volume of the bundle guaranteed steady, uninterrupted returns. It was marketed as the ultimate risk-free investment. As global investors realized how profitable these bundles were, their appetite became insatiable. Pension funds, foreign governments, and major corporations all wanted a piece of the American housing market. But Wall Street ran into a fundamental problem. They were running out of mortgages to buy. To keep the machine running, lenders had to find more buyers, and to find more buyers, they had to lower their standards. This was the birth of the subprime market. Suddenly, the traditional requirements of borrowing money, credit checks, down payments, proof of steady employment, vanished. Loans were handed out to almost anyone who asked. In some cases, lenders approved ninja loans, an acronym for no income, no job, and no assets. To the average person on the street, it felt like the American dream had finally become accessible to everyone. But behind the curtain, the financial system was filling its foundation with toxic debt. To disguise this risk, Wall Street turned to complex financial engineering. They took the riskiest, lowest quality subprime mortgages, bundled them together into new financial products called collateralized debt obligations, or CDOs, and took them to rating agencies. Miraculously, these agencies stamped these high-risk bundles with a AAA rating, indicating they were as safe as government bonds. The trap was set, and the world was entirely unaware. In late 2006, the music quietly stopped. To combat rising inflation, the Federal Reserve had been steadily raising interest rates. For millions of subprime borrowers who had taken out adjustable-rate mortgages, their monthly payments suddenly skyrocketed. At the same time, the supply of new houses began to outpace demand. Housing prices didn't just slow down, they peaked, plateaued, and began a steady, jagged downward turn. Suddenly, the mathematics of the housing boom inverted. Millions of Americans found themselves in a terrifying position. They owed more money on their mortgages than their actual homes were worth. For many, the only logical choice was to walk away. Defaults began to climb, slowly at first, then exponentially. The bottom layer of the great financial machine was giving way. Because these toxic assets had been sliced, diced, and sold across every corner of the earth, no one actually knew where the damage was contained. It wasn't just an American housing problem anymore, it was a global contagion. By mid-2007, the invisible gears of the global economy began to grind to a halt. Large banks looked at other large banks and realized they couldn't trust each other's balance sheets. The financial system relies entirely on credit, the belief that you will be paid back tomorrow. When that belief vanished, banks stopped lending to one another. The system was paralyzing itself. By September 2008, the paralysis turned into total organ failure. On September 15th, the unthinkable happened. Lehman Brothers, a 158-year-old investment banking giant that had survived the Civil War and the Great Depression, filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy. It was the largest corporate failure in human history. The dominoes didn't just tip, they fell with a weight that threatened to pull down the entire global infrastructure. Within days, the credit markets froze completely. This didn't just affect Wall Street traders, it struck the real economy. Large corporations couldn't secure the short-term loans they needed to meet payroll or buy inventory. The global supply chain was on the verge of locking up. In a matter of weeks, trillions of dollars in wealth vanished from retirement accounts, pension funds, and stock markets worldwide. The world's wealthiest nations were forced into a position of absolute desperation. Emergency bailouts, unprecedented central bank interventions, and trillion-dollar printing machines were deployed all at once. The goal was no longer to save individual banks. The goal was simply to keep the heart of modern capitalism beating. Eventually, the panic subsided. The system survived, but the world that emerged on the other side was fundamentally altered. The crisis of 2008 was not a natural disaster. It was a human creation, built on a foundation of complacency, greed, and a collective blind spot. It exposed a fragile truth about our modern world, that the complex structures we build to protect and grow our wealth are only as strong as the assumptions we ground them in. When the dust settled, trillions of dollars were injected into the financial system to save the institutions that caused the collapse. Meanwhile, millions of ordinary citizens paid the true price in lost jobs, foreclosed homes, and shattered security. We recovered, but the trust was gone. And nearly 20 years later, the echoes of that fracture can still be heard.